code the server side, we'll create a new file in the server. So the first file will be index.js. Okay. So here in the server side, right, first thing you have to do is you import, right? Import the express, right? Okay. So this is the first thing you have to do. And then const, you have to create an application for that, const app. Then you have to just call the express function. Okay. So you created an app, right? So now we have to start the server, right? Let's start the server app.listen. So what is the first argument? Will be your port number, right? Correct, comma, and then the second argument is your function, your arrow function, right? Right. This is how you create a function, right? And first thing what you'll do, you have to connect to the Mongo database, right? So we'll call a function called connect to connect to a Mongo database, and then we'll have a, I think you put a log, something will come, right? Console.log server is running or connected to the Mongo database. Okay, server is running. Now we need to have a connect function, right? So for that again a variable connect. So this will be a async function, right? Async function, which is an async arrow function, right? So we have to, since you are connected to a Mongo database, right? We have to put it in the try and catch, right? So try. Okay, in the try, what you'll do is we have to connect to the Mongo database. So for that, you have to import mongoose, right? So import mongoose from mongoose. Okay. See, now we are not using this mongoose, right? So it is little hidden, right? When you start using mongoose, mongoose dot connect, and then we have to include the URL here. Okay, where is the URL? The URL you have to have you have to put it in the .env, right? So we will create a .env file. Okay, in this I'll put Mongo equal to, and then we have to put our URL here. This is our URL. Right. So it is now available in the Mongo database, right? So for that, first what I have to do is I have to import the .env. Okay, and then I have to configure it. I have to do the configuration of the .env. .env.config. Okay, and then what I can do is process dot env dot mongo. What is the variable, right? That variable is mongo only. Okay, so you can use a variable here. Okay, and this you have to wait until its connection is over, right? So you have to use the await keyword before that. Okay, now what you can do is you can have a console message saying that connected to Mongo DB. Okay, and then what is the need for a try and try block? Any error occurs in the try block, right? We have to catch in the catch block. right? So here you can just display your error message, console or log error. So while connecting to the Mongo database, suppose the URL you are given, right, if that is wrong, you cannot connect to the Mongo database, right? So any problem occurs here, this catch block will be called and the error message will be displayed. Okay, so this is what we have done. Now, what is the next step we have to do? We have to tell Express few things, right? Because when we get a when you get a post request, the data will be coming in JSON. So Express has to use a JSON processor to JSON parser to parse the data. From the JSON, it has to parse and get the data, right? So we can tell Express to use a parser, right? Express.json like this, I think, right? Okay, let's check the syntax later, and then we are telling Express to use this JSON parser, and then we have to tell Express to use the routes also, right? Okay, for a particular route, info route, you call this route. Okay, so see here this route, right? It is there in another folder, so it has imported from there. Okay, but we have to. This is already written code, right? Now we have to do the route here. Okay, so for all the routes, let's create a folder here and call it routes. Okay, so in the routes, let me create, this is a file, right? Okay, let me create a file called routes.js. Okay, and here I need to have all the routes. Okay, so in the index.js, I'm calling this route. Okay, and in the route.js, we have to do it. So here, first thing you have to do is, this is a routes, we have to define all the routes. So first let me import Express. Okay, and then I will have a route. Okay, I have to create a router for this. So this is a thing, Express dot router. Okay, once I have this route, I have to create post route. Okay, so post route, the endpoint will be CS, right? And I will call a function create student. Okay, so create student, it is calling from here, right? The create student function is available here only. Now what you have to do, this router, right? You have to go back once and you have to create a folder called controllers, and then in this I have to create a new file called students.js. Okay, so let's go to this, and basically I have to go one directory back. I am in this route directory, right? Routes directory. I have to go one back. So I will go to the server directory. In that controller, and then I am importing here the create student. Okay. Uh, so this is a post, right? And then I have to create a get. So here slash get, I have to do a get student. So create student and get student. Okay. Here also it should be in this. Or you can put a comma here and put get student, I think. Okay, this can be done. And this need not be there. Okay. Okay, now again what you have to do, you have to export this, right? Export default route. because you are importing it here. So again here this has to be, where are you? You are in index, right? So if you are in index, routes in the same folder only, right? So routes. Oh, routes, oh, that is exported to routes. Oh, okay, routes.js. Okay, so you have to export routes. Oh, this should be routes, okay. I think it can be anything. That and this can be different, I think. Okay, okay. So you have done with the routes, right? You have completed both the routes, okay? So let's go to that actual routes and see whether we have done anything correct or not. Okay, so 6 express dot router, okay, and then post method, create student, and then get method. Both the things we have done. We have to go and implement this create student and get student. Okay. Mm, for that, what you have to do? First thing, we have to create a model, right? Model. Okay. Model. Okay. And then here you have to have a new file. What's the file name? Da? We can give. Okay. Student schema.js. Okay. So we have to create a schema here. So while creating a schema, what are the things we have to do? Okay, so now we have to create a model, right? So while doing this, if you are not, we don't know how to write the syntax, you can refer the code once. So you have to import mongoose, and then you have to create a student schema, right? And then you have to do a new mongoose schema. In the new mongoose schema, right, in the function, you have to create one square bracket. In that what is name, what is course, what is email, okay, all the column name you have to specify, type and required unique, all these things you have to specify. Okay, and finally you have to export that this model, right? You have to export the model. In the model, first you have to give the name and the collection name and the schema for it, and this is what you have to do. So you can refer this, and then you can start typing your code. Always, if you have any doubts, you can go refer it, right? You can refer the code once, but don't refer like line by line or few lines. Refer one file particularly. Go through the complete file, understand the complete file, and then start coding. Okay, so let's code it. Import mongoose from mongoose. Okay, now we need to have a schema, right? Let's have
Bala, your voice is very too low, Bala.
okay.
Yes, your voice is too low.
Okay, I think the mic was not proper. Now the voice is okay. Okay, so now we will have this student schema. Student schema. Now this will be, you have to create a new schema, right? So new mongoose dot schema, and in this we need to have a variable, and in this the name mm, will be, it should be like this, right? The name for the name type is string, comma, required is true, and then unique, true. Okay, so now after declaring that, you can go and verify that once, right? Student schema name mongoose dot schema. Okay, correct only. Here name type string required true comma, and then everything after that you have to put comma, right? After that again a comma, and then course type is string and required is true. Okay, next is email. Email type is string and required is true. Okay, so this is that. Now you have the contact number and fees. Okay, this probably this you can, since you know how to type it, I'll just copy and I will paste it here. Okay, so this is done. Fees is this has to come here. Okay, and this has to come here. Okay, so now we have to export it, right? You have to export. What you have to export? Export the student schema, right? Student schema. What is the exact thing you have to do? Forgot it. Export default. Oh, this is what you have to export. This student schema you have to. So whatever you are importing from here, right? In this from this file, this is what will be there. So mongoose.model you have to export. Okay, export default. Whenever you are exporting, you have to do export default. And what you are exporting? You are exporting a mongoose.model. For the model, the first will be your collection name. Collection name will have a different name. Student detail, okay, and then you have to give the schema. Schema is a student schema. So this is what you exported. Okay, so we have created the model, and then in the controller, what you have to do? You need to have the function, right? Create student, all the function you need to have. We have to create a we have to export the database and create it, right? Okay, so we will do it in the next video.